Hello, welcome to Premier Scene. I'm Claire Bueno. Well, I'm about to do a pirouette as I've just had the opportunity of interviewing Ralph Fiennes at the UK premiere of The White Crow. Watching the film, and it felt like almost like life imitating art. Pushkin teaches Nureyev, yourself as the director is teaching Oleg the craft of screen acting. Did that create a lovely symbiotic relationship?
With Oleg?
Yeah.
Yes. Of course, I'm effectively teaching or guiding Oleg as a young actor who's never acted, a young screen actor. And in the film, I'm his teacher, also guiding him. And also, he's guiding me. I mean, I'm attempting to speak Russian. I think I put it off, but I definitely had to ask him, is that okay? Did I sound? He gave me little tiny language hints. And that was
very grounding for you as well.
Actually, the film is the result of extraordinary collaboration. It really exists because I was blessed with an amazing cast and crew, and who gave of themselves and their time and their artistry. And I mean, it was a tough film to finance. We didn't have a lot of time, and people gave of their energy and their commitment. So I feel blessed.
And the story is told wonderfully in a non-linear order. What made that exciting for you as a filmmaker, and also sort of visually as well?
Well, David Hare had written it, and I both felt we resisted a linear approach. We felt there were exciting possibilities of portraiture, of looking at a human being by juxtaposing their childhood and their student years and their present moment. So Paris moments go against childhood moments, go against a few years back in Leningrad, and I believe it gives us a quite interesting portrait. We're reminded of, like, I see a picture of yourself as a child now. I make a connection, and I think about your life, and now that little girl became you now, and that's an interesting way to contemplate someone.
And the beauty with film, obviously, you can take multiple takes to get the best performances. When you're shooting the dancing scenes, did you have to be more mindful because of the intensity of the performances and the physical requirements?
Yes, in fact, I had met briefly Carlos Acosta, who I don't know, but I went to see him do a show, and I was introduced to him afterwards, and he said, "Can I give you a word of advice, Ralph? I dance and jump for a living, but I can't do it repeatedly for a camera." Because he had been asked to appear in a film, and he said I had to dance and jump again and again and again. So I was mindful of Oleg's stamina, and quickly it's you realise that the challenge that you don't have the luxury with a dancer that they can repeat and repeat and repeat these complex and difficult moves.
As a dancer, you're used to obviously being on stage and having to project a big performance. Was it difficult to act for screen and have to rein that performance in?
Потому что как танцор вы привыкли быть на сцене, так сказать, и проецировать себя на публику. Сложно вам было, например, в кино немножко, так сказать, себя придерживать?
Это немножко другое, потому что когда ты на сцене танцуешь, ты не говоришь, ты просто делаешь жесты и танец. А когда ты играешь, это совершенно другое.
It's just two different things, because when you're on stage, you don't speak, you just move and you express yourself through dance. And in filming, it's slightly different.
And it's almost like life imitates art in the film. You're working with Ralph Fiennes as your director and actor, and also the relationship in the film is that Pushkin is your teacher. Yeah. So was that a lovely kind of symbiotic relationship between yourself and Ralph?
У нас сложились невероятные впечатления. Я надеюсь, они и продолжатся, потому что вот этот человек, который там справа, это мега-стар. Это просто, я его называю, это супер-монстр.
We've developed an incredible relationship with him. This person who is down there, he's just an amazing star. He's an amazing person. I just call him a monster star.
And Nureyev was obviously very famous in Russia. For you, taking on the responsibility of playing that part and playing a warts and all performance of that, was that a challenge, really?
Ну, естественно, Нуреев был большая звезда в России. И вот для вас игра этой роли, так сказать, со всеми плюсами и минусами, это вызовом был?
Это был... Да, возможно, это был вызов, то есть смогу-не смогу.
Yes, probably it was a challenge in a sense whether I would be able to do it or not.
And did you learn any more about the craft of ballet from being in this film?
Работая над этим фильмом, вы научились чему-то еще из балетного искусства?
Терпение.
patience.
What I loved about this film was it's told in a non-linear order. Can you explain a little bit more about why that was the right choice for the story?
Well, there are 3 different stories, and Ralph really wanted to explain and get as close to Nureyev as he possibly could. And he felt that it just as in our minds, we remember ourselves as children and we remember ourselves when we're growing up. And he wanted to explain this terrible childhood that Nureyev had, of terrible poverty, and then how he learnt as a student to dance at the dance school. And then so that when he actually steps onto the stage in Paris and becomes the most famous dancer in the world, you're able to flash around and show other bits of his life, and you understand where he's come from and what he's been through to get where he was, you know.
And was it interesting for you as well as a writer to think about how visually different the film could be as well?
I mean, we knew visually the film, but you know, it's easy for me. I just write, they dance. That's all I have to do. It's up to Ralph and the designer and the cinematographer to work out how the hell to do it. I mean, I knew which dances came where because I know what Nureyev danced at any time. But, you know, it's one of the best things about being a screenwriter is you can just write they dance and then it's up to Ralph to sort it out, you know.
Can you tell us the relationship that you have with Ralph? I mean, he's such a gifted actor that's all about authenticity, so I imagine the authenticity of the story, a warts and all story, is really important as well.
Yes, I mean, you know, he's so thorough about all the detail of everything, and everything has to be exactly right. He even insisted that the scenes in which the little boy is taken into the woods, they had to be Russian woods, not English woods or Serbian woods, and there are people in the film who are really friends of Nureyev's, who are really in the film, and he's crazy about authenticity, which is a wonderful thing if you're a writer, because it's very rewarding.
You've worked with Ray for a long time, haven't you? What made this the kind of the right script for him for his third project?
Well, in fact, it wasn't a script to begin with. We sort of developed the script sort of together, but it was really just the idea of telling the story of the young life of Rudolf Nureyev. So he loved the idea of telling the story of a young artist, and then we got David Hare to agree to come along and write it. So that was really the beginning of, you know, the journey.
And David Hare's written a very sumptuous screenplay, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think when David and Ralph were collaborating, David was writing the screenplay to encompass the strengths of Ralph as well?
Absolutely. No, definitely. I mean, I think that it's about, you know, he was really writing for the filmmaker that is Ralph. So, yes.
And for Ralph, it was very important to nominate Russian actors. Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about the casting process for that, please?
Well, it took us a year and a bit to find Oleg, who plays Nureyev. And then all the rest of the casting, we worked with a Russian casting director for about 2 years. And since really Russian is the language of the film, you know, most of the actors are Russian.
It doesn't always happen, but it adds the authenticity, doesn't it, really?
Really important for us was really to have that sense of truth.
What's lovely about the film as well, it depicts Nureyev. It's a warts and all account. You know, he's not a dislikable character, but he's a demanding character of himself, and he's everybody around him. Was that important as well, not to kind of sanitize who Nureyev was?
Yes. Absolutely. No. I mean, it was really about his personality as part of what's so fascinating about the story. He was a real original. And like that's why we were captivated, and hopefully people will be.
Well, that's it from the UK premiere of The White Crow. But before we fly off, just remember to subscribe so we know we'll catch you next time.